Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take the research you send us, and today that's evidence-based guidance from Physio Hub, and we turn it into a clear, actionable plan. Today we are getting into a topic that I think keeps a lot of parents and coaches up at night. How do we build real, long-term athleticism in kids, but do it safely, minimizing that risk of injury? We all want our kids to be active, coordinated, ready for anything really, whether it's soccer or gymnastics or something else entirely. But there's always that fear in the back of your mind. Am I pushing too hard, too early? So our mission today, it's not about creating these tiny little bodybuilders. It's about giving you that evidence-based roadmap for a truly resilient athletic foundation.
Exactly. We're moving past all the guesswork, all the old myth. We're going to distill this research into, the specific exercises, the smart ways to program them, and this is critical, the absolute red lines, the things to avoid so that we're building genuine physical capacity safely.
Okay, let's unpack this. So before we even start talking about, barbells or complex drills, the sources all seem to come back to three things: the absolute fundamentals. What are those core movements we need to focus on first?
The research is pretty much unanimous on this. It points right back to the simplest human movements: running, jumping, and throwing.
Right.
And what's so fascinating is we often see this as just, kids playing, but the data confirms they are foundational skill builders. For instance, some of the studies referenced, like one from 2024, they looked at preschool and elementary-aged kids, and they found that focused practice on just those three things, running, jumping, throwing, significantly boosted their motor skills, their coordination, even their speed.
So if I'm hearing this right, it's not just that running is part of soccer, it's that learning to run efficiently or jump powerfully that actually builds the blueprint in the brain, the thing it needs to learn any athletic skill later on.
Precisely. You're building the operating system first. If a child can run and change direction, quickly and efficiently, they have the general coordination they need to then absorb the specific footwork of basketball or the power for a golf swing.
So it's general physical literacy first.
Exactly. You specialize much, much later. It's the highest yield activity for the youngest kids, period.
That makes so much sense. These are the tools that unlock everything else. But, there's a limit, right? If they only run, jump, and throw, don't they eventually hit a bottleneck? When does actual strength training come in?
That is the perfect question, and it's exactly what the research addresses next. Running and jumping are great for impact and speed, but strength training gives them the resilience, the stability to handle those forces without getting hurt.
And this is where parents get nervous.
They imagine kids under a heavy barbell. But the recommendation is to start with a focus on foundational strength. And that means using the child's own body weight. We're talking about push-ups, squats, planks.
Simple stuff.
Simple stuff that teaches them kinesthetic awareness, how to control their own body in space. And that right there is probably the single best predictor of injury prevention later on.
Okay, but how do you teach an 8-year-old a perfect push-up? Or a plank for a full minute? That's where the frustration comes in and the bad habits start to form.
Oh, absolutely. You start with modifications. You start with a partial range of motion. So instead of a full plank on the floor, maybe they do an inclined plank against a bench or even a wall. Instead of a full push-up, it's a knee push-up. The goal isn't to crush them. The goal is mastering the form and the tension for, say, 8 to 15 repetitions.
Okay, and here's where it gets really interesting for me. Once they've got that body control down, do they just stick with body weight forever, or can we start adding some external resistance, safely, of course?
We can, and we should, but very carefully. The source material is a big supporter of tools like resistance bands and specifically plyometric exercises.
Which is basically jump training.
Exactly. Dynamic jump training. Studies show that things like plyometrics and resistance bands are fantastic for improving agility, power, balance. You're building that elastic strength. But, and this is a huge but, it comes with a massive, non-negotiable warning label. The exercises have to be done under proper, strict supervision.
That supervision piece feels like the most important part. What does bad supervision even look like with jump training? Are we just worried about a rolled ankle, or is it more than that?
It's often the cumulative stress. It's more insidious than one bad landing. Inadequate supervision means letting a kid do high-impact movements like box jumps when they're tired and their form is breaking down. If a kid lands with locked knees 30 times in a row, you're just creating all this unnecessary strain on developing joints. Supervision is quality control. It's about knowing when to say, okay, that's enough for today.
So we've got the fundamentals: run, jump, throw. We've added in some smart, supervised body weight and light resistance work. Is that the whole picture, or do structured programs actually give an extra boost?
Structure definitely provides a measurable benefit. It's about consistency. And yes, specialized programs like the IAAF Kids Athletics, they get highlighted in the sources for a reason. They blend fun, game-based activities with, systematic training.
So it doesn't feel like a grind.
It doesn't, and that's key. But what these structured programs offer is systematic progression. When you have a program that specifically focuses on speed drills, strength exercises, throwing techniques, you see these big, measurable jumps in physical capacity compared to just unstructured play.
I have to wonder if part of that isn't just physical, but mental too. I mean, these structures, they help teach discipline, right?
Yeah.
And how to follow instructions, and just the simple idea that improvement takes time.
Absolutely. The structure drives consistency, and consistency is really the silent engine of athletic development. When the activity is fun and varied and challenging, it fosters that long-term love for being active. We want them to develop the habit of movement.
Right, not just the skill for one specific sport. Let's talk about speed for a second. For parents who are really focused on getting their kid fast, what does the research say? Is it just about running sprints over and over?
It's a bit more complex. True athletic speed is often about agility. It's about how fast you can slow down and change direction, not just raw sprinting speed. The sources really emphasize that speed development needs to include acceleration drills, sure, but also deceleration practice, and dynamic movements like side shuffles and quick cuts. That's what builds the neurological pathways for rapid response.
The kind of speed that actually matters on a field or a court.
Precisely.
Okay, so we've laid out what to do. Now let's draw the boundary lines. For the parent or coach who wants to challenge a kid safely, we have to be crystal clear. What are the high-risk activities to avoid completely?
And this is where we have to draw a very hard line. It's a point of common confusion. So while the sources do say there's little evidence that supervised, age-appropriate weightlifting, and we're talking about submaximal loads, focusing on form negatively impacts growing bones, we have to separate that from the high-risk activities. The crucial do not do list for young athletes is heavy lifting, powerlifting, and bodybuilding.
Wait, walk me through that. That feels like a fine line. If some weightlifting is okay, why is powerlifting out? What's the specific physiological risk there?
The risk changes completely with the objective. Supervised weightlifting is about movement quality. It's resistance training for body awareness. Powerlifting and heavy lifting, by their very definition, are about lifting the absolute maximum load you can.
1 rep maxes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or, with bodybuilding, it's about deliberately trying to build muscle mass. And according to sources like Stanford Children's Health, these goals are just not suitable for kids. They place undue stress on developing joints, on growth plates, on ligaments. A young athlete's muscles might be able to handle a heavy load, but their skeleton, their connective tissues, they're just not ready for it. And when you ask them to lift maximal weight, the chance of their form breaking down skyrockets. That leads to growth plate injuries, which can impact how their bones develop long term.
So if a coach listening right now asks, how do I define heavy lifting for a 10-year-old? What's the simple rule?
It's defined by effort. If a child cannot perform an exercise with perfect, controlled form for at least 8 to 10 repetitions, it's too heavy. If they're straining, holding their breath, shaking, that load is too heavy.
It's just not worth the risk.
The purpose is technique. The second it becomes about the number on the weight, you've crossed into the danger zone for kids.
So what this all means for you listening is that we have to prioritize long-term joint health and motor skills over today's strength gains. The risk just massively outweighs the reward.
Absolutely. Avoiding these things keeps kids injury-free, and just as importantly, it keeps them motivated. A kid who's always hurt is a kid who's going to quit. Safety is the foundation of consistency.
Okay, so let's tie this all together.
If we connect all these findings, the source material really gives us 3 core principles for any parent or coach. Number 1, prioritize enjoyment and variety. Keep it fun, keep it diverse. That prevents burnout and builds a well-rounded athlete, not someone who can only do one thing well.
Makes sense.
Number 2, balance safety with challenge. You have to encourage kids to push their limits, that's how they grow. But the progression has to be gradual, always within those age-appropriate safety lines. You can't skip steps. And finally, number 3, emphasize fundamentals and supervision. Start with that trifecta: running, jumping, throwing. And make sure any and all strength work is done under strict supervision while completely avoiding those high-risk activities we just talked about.
And the ultimate takeaway here for you is that the goal isn't to prepare your child for one specific sport. It's to give them the adaptability, the power, the coordination to excel in any athletic path they choose later on. You're building a versatile human being. And that wraps up this deep dive. We've covered why running, jumping, and throwing are the non-negotiable foundations, how to apply smart bodyweight strength, why structured fun works, and crucially, where to draw that hard line against heavy lifting for young athletes.
And maybe a final thought for you to take away from this. The value here goes so far beyond the physical. Think about the non-sport skills you're cultivating. When a child masters their body through this kind of safe, varied, challenging activity, they're also building discipline, resilience, focus, the ability to listen. How does that adaptability, both physical and mental, serve them when they face the challenges of adult life? That is the real long-term investment.